Hello and welcome to this FPL Gameweek 25 press conference live stream with me, Holly Shand. There's a lot to get through today. Thank you for finding me at the earlier time as well. I'm hoping to be back at the traditional 1 o'clock slot next week, but this is all I could manage today, unfortunately, around childcare. But there's not a lot of press conferences going on in the next hour. Most of them are coming between 1 and 2, but we should hear from Erik ten Hag ahead of Manchester United's League Cup final after Marcus Rashford seemed to limp off against Barcelona in the Europa League on Thursday evening. So that's certainly one to look out for a lot of people. So I'm going to be keeping tabs on all of that. I'm obviously going to be talking through my final team reveal. I still haven't made transfers because I do just want to get all the information from the press conferences. We have just heard from Jurgen Klopp with some interesting words, let's say, for anyone loading up on Liverpool players. Probably not what we wanted to hear, but that's where we're at with that. The poll is live, so if you are joining me today and you have found me at the earlier time, please do pop over to the chat, say hello and vote in the poll, because there's a big captain decision this week for a lot of managers who are really torn on Salah v Saka. It's a tough decision, and I mean, if I had both, I'd be pretty confident on which one that I would favour for the armband, but I know for others it's not as clear. So we are going to be discussing captaincy. I'm also going to be reminding you with my final moves, answering your questions, keeping abreast of all the news dropping on the tweet deck as well. So if we just pop over, I've got the tweet deck open at the moment with those words from Klopp that we'll look over in a moment. I know, a lot of managers struggling this week to know what to do because we've got a blank game week, we've got a double game week, we've also got lots of other bits going on in terms of chip strategy going forward. This is my team at the moment. The plan is to bench Trippier, Rashford and Botman, and to sell Shaw and Fernandes to bring in Tarkowski and Gakpo. So I couldn't get to Salah easily. I could get to Salah. I had 2 free transfers. I could get to Salah for a -4, but it would mean bringing in an Everton defender in place of Riyad Mahrez, which I wasn't comfortable with because I wouldn't want that to be part of my team long term. So that's why I decided against that. So these are the moves at the moment. I did miss the price drop on Shaw and the price rise on Tarkowski yesterday, which was a bit frustrating, but you've just got to go with these things and hope for the best. So I'm not going to let it bother me too much, but that's where I'm at the moment. But I'm not 100% locked in. I need to actually remember to do my transfers because I'm back on parenting duties this afternoon. I'm conscious that my time might get taken up and it'll get to 6 o'clock. And because I've filmed my team reveal video and stuff, in my head I feel like I'm sorted even though I haven't made the moves. I'm pretty sure of the moves, but they're not locked in just yet. But that is there for you guys to have a look at as well. So I'm going to head over to the chat, come say hello to you guys. So start voting on the poll as well. Like and subscribe, of course, and we'll do some hellos. So Gazman is in working from home. Good to see you, Gazman. We've also got Mike in and Eddie, Niraj, Ioma. So a few new faces in and a few familiar faces as well. Jaheem is in, as is Abdi Aziz, Sammy and Ozone. So I did used to do a stream at 12 o'clock midday because I do feel like it does suit people in terms of in the UK who may be on their lunch hour. But because there's more press conferences at 1 o'clock, it does make sense to put those in there as well. So Gazman said, Tarkowski, Neves and Salah for me. That and 3 Arsenal enough. Saka or Salah captain. Already we're talking about captaincy. So yeah, I think 6 is, plenty for doublers. I think 3 is okay. I think you could easily go in with 3 Arsenal. 4 or 5 is fine. I think those that are maybe going free hit would be going 9. I think 6 or 7 is probably, more than enough. So that's where I'm at with that. In terms of captaincy, there's a few things we can look at to help us with the captaincy decisions. FPL Salah has the anytime goal scorer odds. Salah is at 69%, as is Darwin, and Nketiah behind on 68%. Saka only on 59%, so that's one thing to factor. But that is just goal scorer odds. The Fantasy Football Hub points prediction tool. So you can get this if you're a Fantasy Football Hub member. There's a link in the description where you can get 30% off your membership, and you can also get a free trial, but this is all fully customizable. They put Salah top, 12.9 points, followed by Nketiah 12.8, Odegaard 12.3, Darwin 12. Saka is actually in 5th place on 11.8. One thing to note here, though, is that we've got predicted minutes, which allows predictions for predicted points. Salah is on 180 minutes, but Jurgen Klopp in his press conference today said this: "We'll make some changes on Saturday," so this is for the Palace game. Liverpool have the same 11 midweek against Real Madrid. Some knocks after Madrid. We are not 100% clear. We have to make changes and want to make changes again. So, what does that mean? Salah has been benched in the past against Crystal Palace. You may have seen earlier this week that I posted Salah's record against Crystal Palace. So in 10 appearances in the Premier League against them, he's had 7 goals, 6 assists, 13 attacking returns. But I'm pretty sure that in one of those appearances, it's quite a famous FPL one, actually. I think it was a few seasons ago now. He started on the bench. I think it was the early kickoff on the Saturday. He was on the bench. I think it was a Saturday deadline, so we got news that he was going to be benched. So people moved the armband off him, which I think you would do. But he did then come on for a sensational performance. I'm just going to double check how many attacking returns he got on that day. Officially, he got 2 goals and an assist in a 7-0 win from a 33-minute appearance. I believe that he maybe got max bonus points and another fantasy assist. But that's something to bear in mind. He's also been benched in his very first game for his very first home game for Liverpool against Crystal Palace back in 2017-18. He came on for 29 minutes. So, I mean, I don't want to spread rumours, but I think it is quite telling, those comments from Klopp today. Let me just put them back on the screen. It would worry me if I was on Salah over Saka. Now, currently on our poll, Saka is at 48%, Salah is at 44%. In terms of what I would do, I mean, I'm actually going into this game week crazily with neither of these options. But if it was between Salah and Saka for me, and the reason why we're putting Saka ahead of the other Arsenal assets is that he's on pens, I would go with Saka because I'm more confident of starts. I think I saw somewhere that Saka's got the longest starting run in the Premier League, from what I remember. But if you look on here, since the restart, he's played 90 minutes every single game. That's what you want. And I think when there's not a lot to split them, but you know that Saka's going to get 180 minutes, barring, some sort of catastrophe, and Salah, you're not as sure. I think it's an easy decision. Arsenal are way more consistent than Liverpool. I feel like if Arsenal were to go a goal down, you wouldn't be writing them off. But Liverpool, for them to go behind, I think you would be starting to worry about their potential for return. So there's lots of factors in there, but for me, it would be Saka over Salah. I don't have either though. So I'm currently, I'm pretty sure I'm going Odegaard. That's what I'm thinking. Hopefully I can get away with it. But good question, Gazman, and pleased that you can join live this week. Mike is on Salah captain, spoiler and alert. That's fine. I still think Salah's a really good option as well. It's not easy at all. Eddie says, I did Tarkowski and Salah in for free. That's nice. I like that. I wish I could have done the same. Do I do a -8 to go Fernandes and Mitrovic out, put Mitoma on the bench and get Darwin and play him? I'll have 11. I don't know if that's worth it, you know. I really don't. I think I would prefer going Fernandes to Gakpo, or if you can go Mitrovic to Watkins. I'm not sure if you can, because it's a little bit of step up in price. I really like that as well, because Watkins, obviously, Aston Villa have a fixture this week. Let me get the schedule up from Ben. Aston Villa have got a fixture this week against Everton. Nice fixture. Then it's Crystal Palace, West Ham, Bournemouth in the blank, which is nailed on. Then they double in 29. And they've not got bad fixtures out of that double either. So that's something to keep an eye on. I think it is the right decision to replace Mitrovic now. Mike says, others in my mini league are wildcarding. I am convinced they need to pack their bench with Brighton and Brentford, maybe Rashford. What do you say? Yeah, probably. I think this is a week to try and hold on to the chips. But, you know, a lot of us have come into this game week quite well prepared, and that might not be the same for everyone. Jaheim has said, Tarkowski, White, Thiago Silva and Robertson as a back four. That is a really nice back four. I think Chelsea's clean sheet odds aren't that great for this week, obviously, because they play Spurs. But Arsenal are at 72% across the double. Liverpool are at 66%. Everton at 43%. So you should get some nice returns in there as well. One thing that I did want to chat to you guys quickly about today before we get into any more questions is about Sorare. You may have seen a few weeks ago that the Premier League signed a contract with Sorare, and you can now buy Premier League cards on Sorare, and there's a great free-to-play competition as well. So if I just... Let me just pop a link in the chat so that if anyone is wanting to check out Sorare, then they can do. Completely lost where I was now. But Sorare is another fantasy football game. It's a bit like daily fantasy football, but there's a nice draft format of the game. And I actually won my first competition on Sorare last weekend, which has got me even more excited for this one. So there's a draft game on Sorare where you can pick 8 players with a budget, and then you buy select 5 players to play in a lineup each week, and there's a mini league running in there as well. So this is my team for this week. I was a bit more limited because of the blanks. I think I've got Marcus Rashford in there that I couldn't use, but you pick a lineup of 5 every week: goalkeeper, defender, midfielder, forward, and an additional player, and you pick a captain as well, and you compete against other managers in a competition, and you can win cards, and you can win cash prizes as well, and lots of other prizes. I've already done a giveaway of some free match tickets, Premier League tickets. I'd like to do another one soon. So if there's a particular game in the Premier League schedule that you fancy being part of a competition to win tickets for, then let me know, and hopefully in a few weeks' time I'll be able to do a giveaway of some tickets on the stream, which would be really exciting. So I'm in a few mini leagues. I'm actually doing all right in my own league, which is a relief. I'm 92nd at the moment. This has been running for a few weeks. There's a few ahead of me, I think, but I'm not that far off some of these. But as well as that, that's the free-to-play game. You can also buy cards on the market. There's been a lot of new cards available, particularly because the Premier League has been added. I'm just going to filter this by Premier League to give you an idea of what's available. I have different scarcities, limited through to unique, which is one-of-a-kind cards, but you can get an idea from here how much a limited card is worth. So, for example, you can buy an Andreas Pereira for around £15 at the moment. Kyle Walker is £20. I won I played the Premier League Pro competition where you had to use 4 paid cards and 1 free last week. Captain James Ward-Prowse, and I think he was the top performing player of the week. So I got a free limited card in there as well, which is Mohamed Salah, who's worth about £15 at the moment. So that was a nice win. So I'm only just getting started on Sorare. I've been playing for a few weeks, been concentrating on the Premier League. But if you do fancy joining me, then I'll pop that link in the chat again for you to have a look and get involved. And you know, I'm being serious, guys. If you have a look at the Premier League schedule, I will be able to get some match tickets to give away for a few weeks, in a couple of weeks' time on stream. So, you know, let me know what games you'd like to go for, particularly if you're in the UK. And if there's enough interest, then I'll do a giveaway. And hopefully I'll be able to get there as well and meet some of you guys. So let me know what your thoughts are on that. But thank you for listening to that bit. If we jump back over to questions, Abidaz says triple captain Saka. Don't mind that. I think if you've got the triple captain left, we're likely to want to get through particularly game week 28 and 29 and maybe 34. Sorry, 29 and 34, those doubles, we're very likely to use chips in there. So you're running out of opportunities to use the triple captain if you're wanting to use wildcard and free hit in those other game weeks. So there's this week, there's game week 27, but it's likely it's going to be Brentford and Brighton players you're backing. I think it's far easier to go with a Salah or a Saka this week. So if you've got that triple captain chip, use it this week. Sammy says, do we know about Saka's fitness? I think Arteta's press conference is at 1:30, so we will get firm news. I think there was word that maybe he'd limped off at the last game, but I think he's been seen in training, so I don't think it's going to be a big issue, but that's just something to consider in there. Yaheem is going Saka captain. Ozone has said, I have March and Shaw in my 11. Should I take a hit for either? I think it's okay to sell Shaw for Tarkowski for a hit. I think that's fine. March I would hang on to because obviously Brighton have nice fixtures off the back of this one, doubling in 27. So if we look at Brighton's fixtures, West Ham in 26, you probably want to play March in that. Then the double. And then if you're going to free hit in 28, then you've got him for the double in 29 as well. So March is a bit of like a medium-term hold. Whereas if you look at Shaw, no fixture this week. Are you going to play him against Liverpool at Anfield the one next week? Probably not. Southampton at home is a nice fixture. But then the week after that, it's Brighton. Nelson says Arteta's press conference is already done. Have I missed that one then? Was it this morning? Let's have a look. Ah, yeah, here it is. Arteta hopeful that, yeah, he doesn't actually mention Saka, does he? Just news on Partey and Gabriel Jesus, so I don't think that's an issue. Thank you for that, Nelson. Keeping me on track today. Light Rays has said 11 o'clock in Sydney. Wow. Happy for the earlier stream. Well, thank you. Yeah. So the deadline then, is that going to be like 5 a.m. your time tomorrow? That's mad. Because you kind of want those press conference updates, don't you? Tough one. There's going to be my reason for never moving to Australia is that it wouldn't suit me with the FPL deadlines. Cheers for joining though. Peter says, hello Holly, my triple captain active on Mo Salah. Good luck mate, I hope it goes well for you. Niraj says, can't get to Salah either. Yeah, there's going to be a few of us that are going to be praying for a Salah blank. Maybe that's why I'm hopeful he'll be benched against Palace. Yaheem says, if you guys have Tony or Rashford, don't sell. Yeah, that's 2 players I wouldn't sell this week would be Rashford and Trippier. So if we just look at my squad, I bought Trippier at 5.1. He's now at 6. So if I sell him, I'll sell him for 5.5. When I want to get him back next week, he's going to cost me another 500,000. Similar with Rashford, not personally for me, because I've not had him that long. But if you had him at anywhere near 6.5, he's now 7.3. You know, you're going to want him back, and he's going to cost you an extra 0.4 million. It's you've got to think, if there's a player that you own at the moment that you've got value in, that you want long term, don't sell them short-sightedly for this week and then have to buy them back, which is going to cost you another 4 points, and they're going to be more expensive. Harry is in. Nice to see you, Harry. Saka or Salah captain? We're on Odegaard here, Harry. No, I do think Saka. Saka for me, it's an easy one. I don't think it's even a conversation, because I see Saka getting 180 minutes. I don't see Salah getting 180. I just trust Arsenal more, which is weird because, you know, Liverpool have been so consistent, haven't they, in recent weeks. Charlie says, after last week, should I take out Mudryk? He ain't looking so great. Yeah, I think Chelsea attack at the minute, other than João Felix, is an avoid, because we don't know where the starters are. It is a little bit of a minefield, and we need, you know, those consistent starters in our squads at the moment. It's a shame because Chelsea's fixture run is really quite nice. So they've got Leeds in 26, Leicester in 27, Everton in 28, which is the blank, and then they double in 29, and then they've got Wolves after that as well. So they're really nice longer term holds, particularly if you're wanting to avoid using the chips anytime soon. But it's defence over attack at the minute. Kepa, Badiashile, maybe Reece James if you fancy someone that's a bit more risky that could potentially pick up an injury soon. But that's where I would be in terms of those transfers in at the moment. Gary has said, gone with Gakpo like you for a punt. Yeah, I think he is worth a punt. I mean, he's got goals in consecutive games. His minutes isn't great, but I'd be happy enough to back him from the bench. I feel like you need a ticket to Liverpool attack, especially, ideally we want to get through 28 without having to use that free hit. So if you're picking up a couple of Liverpool players, then, you know, you've got them for a bit longer as well. Musa says, would it be a better idea to say free hit, bench boost and wildcard for 30 onwards? Yeah, so I shared some chip strategies the other day. I don't know whether I put them on Twitter actually. I should be able to put them on here somewhere though. This is really testing my skills now, guys. I can do it. You've got to have faith in me. Oh, my computer's loading now. Hope I don't lose you. So there's two chip strategies, and a lot of it depends on how organised you can be for blank game week 28, because, and especially if Liverpool have a fixture in blank game week 28, we'll know this information by Tuesday evening, because it hinges on Leeds beating Fulham in the FA Cup to progress to the next round. That'll mean Fulham and Liverpool then have a fixture in 28, which is going to help us with, you know, having Andreas Pereira still as our fifth mid if you're in that situation like me. So in terms of the strategy, you would try and get through the blank game week 28 with free transfers. Free hit for 29, which is a big double, 12 teams doubling. Then wildcard in game week 33 for a bench boost in 34, which is meant to be another big double. Set yourself up for the last 6 game weeks of the season, if my maths is right. Used to be good at maths, I struggle nowadays, I'm out of practice. But, you know, if we find that Fulham and Liverpool blank in 28, then it makes it more difficult to set up for that week. And because we've got the likes of Brentford and Brighton that double in 27 and 29, you could look to wildcard to bring in those sort of players either in 26 or 27. Probably not going to make a decision until at least Wednesday next week, maybe later. Then free hit in game week 28, bench boost 29. I prefer chip strategy 1 because I think game week 32 could be a bit of a minefield with more FA Cup clashes once again. Is it quarterfinals that week, I think? So we could have, you know, 4 blanks potentially if we get the maximum chaos, which tends to happen in FPL. I'm kind of hoping that Liverpool and Fulham are available for 28 though. That's my plan at the moment. You can see that schedule there again now as well, with Brentford and Brighton having the 2 doubles sandwiched between the blank. Lots to think about, for sure, but we can't really make a decision right now. So I don't think anything that you can do this week will stop you being flexible. But yeah, I like that strategy, Musa. Charlie says, do you think Mitrovic will be good, or should I get someone else in? I think Mitrovic has got to go now. I mean, last time Silva actually said he was the doubt, he then went and hauled. But since then, he's been an awful hold. We've had suspensions, yellow cards, penalty misses, rotation. It's just been a nightmare. So I think it's time to go anyway. In terms of replacements, obviously, if you can get to Darwin Núñez this week, great. If you can get to Ollie Watkins, that's fine as well. I'm just going to have a look at... let's see what the hub algorithm predicts over the next 3. I feel like this has had a bit of an upgrade as well, guys. Nketiah top, Darwin, João Felix, Shay Adams, not loving that one personally. Tony, but obviously he blanks this week. Watkins is in there as well. So a few names in there. Brennan Johnson. It's not the most exciting. Maybe you take a -4 and drop Mitrovic down to a non-player and bring in a midfielder maybe. But it just depends on whether that affects your ability to get an 11 out this week. I am just going to hop over to the tweet deck, just see if there's anything going on in terms of press conference news. So we've got Southampton's press conference is coming up at 12:45. As I said, we should hear from Ten Hag at 12:30, just on that Rashford situation. But yeah, there's not a lot else going on at the moment, but we'll keep an eye on things. I think the West Ham have drawn Larnaca in the Europa can't get my words out today, the Europa Conference League last 16, so that's interesting. I think the actual Europa League draw is due up next. I think maybe Ten Hag's getting his press conference in before that though, but quite a few things to keep abreast of as well today. So we'll see what happens with all of that. But yeah, let me know as well if there is any specific injury news that you're looking for today, and we'll try and get all of that covered as well. Hop back over to your questions then. Nelson said, stuck this week. I want Salah, but after his price rise and Mitrovic drop, I can't get him without having to sacrifice 2 of the following 3, Mahrez, Kane and Fernandes. Any advice? Don't do it. I think Fernandes is dispensable. Mahrez is kind of dispensable, but if you're going to get like McNeil in, for example, I don't think it's worth it. Kane, I wouldn't be selling. A lot of managers are selling Kane now. Going Fernandes and Kane out for Salah and Núñez. I personally don't like it. One thing to consider is, if we look at game week 26, Harry Kane is projected to be one of the highest scoring players. And then game week 27, I know we've got doubles, but Harry Kane is projected to be one of the highest scoring players. So unless you're going to, you can know now, which I don't think you can know now, that you're going to wildcard in 26 or 27, then I probably wouldn't lose Kane. That's my personal preference though. I know other people are doing different things to that, but that's just my opinion on it. Ahmed says, I don't have Saka. Do I stick with Salah or captain Nketiah or Odegaard? I think if I owned Salah, I would captain him over Odegaard. I think the reason I don't like the fact I'm captaining Odegaard is because no one else is. But, you know, like the algorithm really rates him for this week. Above Saka even. But it also rates Nketiah. Nketiah's been not great, let's be honest, in the last few game weeks. If we look at the last 5 game weeks, he's Had 23 shots on goal. 9 big chances. Only 2 goals though. But he's due. He's not as bad at finishing as Darwin Núñez, let's put it that way. Saeed says, what do you think of Cucurella to Tarkowski for a -4? I think if you've seen Cucurella as a problem in your squad, then I think that's enough justification. Damien says his Mahrez a keep this week, yeah. I'm going back to the hub algorithm because I do trust it. If in terms of non-double game week players, Haaland is the top projection, but then I'm pretty sure that Mahrez is second. 6.2 point projection, Bournemouth away. It's minutes, isn't it? But that's based on him playing 67 minutes anyway. Denver, already done Botman to Tarkowski. 1 free transfers left. Mitrovic to Darwin or hold. I think if you can do the straight swap, then you've got to get it done. Get it done is the advice. Zakira Almer on Mahrez for a -4. I don't love that one because I feel like Mahrez could be a problem down the line. I'm kind of hoping that City get knocked out of the Champions League so that Mahrez continues to be an option. He's been so consistent since the restart. Like, look at that sea of returns. It's kind of gone off the boil the last 2, admittedly. Nihul, can I go from Struijk to Tarkowski and Mitrovic to Watkins for a -8? I'm not that keen on the -8 for, you know, switching around fringe players. If you can get there on a -4, then maybe do it. Russell says, any Maddison news? I think we got an update yesterday on Maddison. I don't think it was great, though. Maybe I was wrong. No, here we are. James Maddison continues to manage an ongoing knee issue. We just need to assess that. I mean, what does that mean? It's hard because Maddison's such a great pick if he's fit, but so often he's not fit that it just makes it difficult for us. David says, hi Holly from Melbourne. Why are you not going Salah this week like the majority? I just don't like the players that I'm having to lose to get Salah in. So I'd have to take a hit to get him in. I'm more likely to lose Mahrez to get him in than I would be to lose Kane. So I could go and do something like this. I could get Salah in, Tarkowski in, and then McNeil for a -4. I don't want McNeil long term though. He's got 2 goals and 2 assists all season for 5.1 million. Andreas has got 10 attacking returns in the same time. And then I'm going to end up holding McNeil. Especially if I'm trying to get through 28, just using free transfers. I'm going to end up holding him for the next 3 game weeks after this double. I just don't love it. I'd rather have Mahrez. Salah as well. Especially if he was to blank in 28. I guess I can't really factor that in, but he plays Manchester United next week. I'd rather have Mahrez. That's where I'm at with it. I just don't want to rip up my team to get Salah in, is my point. So this is why I feel like I'm struggling to justify it at the moment. The FOMO is getting to me a little bit. I mean, if I could have done that and put Salah in there, but I don't know if there is another way. I'm 1.7 million off. And Mahrez or Kane has to be the cash cow. Oh, FPL Boo Boo has... No, sorry. Light Rays has given us the Europa League. Man United play Real Betis and Arsenal play Sporting in the round of 16. Good draws for them. It's going to make it difficult, isn't it? Yeah, these are my moves then, guys. I'm not going to lock them in just yet. I do wonder whether we've heard from Ten Hag now. He's probably been waiting for that news. Oh, he's in now. Ten Hag. Oh, this is big. It is too early to say whether Marcus Rashford will be involved. So Marcus Rashford is a doubt for the League Cup final. I've put that in the chat. That is interesting. Don't know if we're going to get anything else. That's big though. I wonder whether he'll say what's wrong with Rashford. Having to run medical tests. Oh, it'd be such a shame if he didn't make it. He's being very coy, which you can understand. I mean, if Rashford was out for a little bit, I'm just not going to have that information though, are we? Oh, it's so frustrating. Then Rashford could be my cash cow. I could just get Mitoma for next week. I've got the exact money. Gets me Salah. Interesting. Interesting. That is tempting. Do you know what with me as well? Yeah, I've sat on my hands. Oh, I can't sell Rashford, can I? Just because he's a doubt. Sell 3 United players. They play Liverpool next. Then they've got one more fixture and then they blank. Southampton at home is that other fixture. Oh, this game is so infuriating at times, isn't it? What do you think, guys? Tell me. Shaw, Fernandes and Rashford out for Tarkowski, Salah, who had captain, Mitoma, who have then got for next week for a -4. I hate having this screen up. That play wildcard and play free hit buttons are just there. I feel like I'm not like fully concentrating when I'm streaming as well. Anything else said? I wanted more words on Rashford. He's not even said what's wrong with him. If he was out for a little bit, I don't know. I'm going to have to think about it. I'm running out of time though. It's already 12:30. Francis has delayed transfers. Couldn't get 90-minute players in. Bueno and Sims. Yeah, don't do that. I wouldn't do that to get Salah. Valter says, I can do Mitrovic and Fernandes to Nonto or Johnson and Salah, but I don't like it. I think it's fine to get rid of those two. I would do that, I think. Matt is doing Ward to Pickford for a -4. Could be an option to rotate now that Dyche is there. With De Gea, yeah, that could work. Oh, I wish... I mean, to be fair, you couldn't expect Ten Hag to know about Rashford's status because it only happened last night and it is only midday, but... If they've not managed to get 100% diagnosis, then that probably means that, you know, it's swollen. Headaches, 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 headaches. Is anyone else just finding this week like the worst game week to prepare for? Niraj says Captain, Odegaard, Gakpo or Nketiah. Odegaard for me out of those three, dear. Cuckoo will get 0 or 1. Can I get Van Dijk in for a -8? I think it'd be all right if he's going Trent or Robertson. I've got a bit more upside, but I don't think I'd go Van Dijk. Captain Kev for me and Vice Captain Tarkowski. Interesting. Abadiaz says, which to buy, Watkins or Darwin? I personally prefer Watkins to Darwin Núñez, but, you know, that's maybe just me. Ariane says, is it worth doing João Felix to Núñez for a -4? No, I wouldn't do that. Nihal, can I go from Struijk to Tarkowski and Mitro to Watkins for a -8? I think I've answered that one. I said I wasn't sure. Jack says, is Salah really worth it? Not. If you can get to him easily, then yeah. But not if you don't. FPL Josh. Mitrovic out, but only would have a 7 million. I don't know who to bring in for a hit. If you're not sure who to bring in, just leave Mitrovic. Maybe try and improve somewhere else. You've got Patterson. Patterson's not going to be involved. You've got Lewis as well and Somerville. You're a bit weak there. I think you're going to have to get some funds out from someone else and just update those other weak spots. I want more news on Rashford. Doesn't even say what's wrong with him. He posted on Instagram a bandage and him limping off. So that makes me think, like, you would not do that if you weren't personally worried that he was going to miss the League Cup final. It's tricky. Tricky. Sorry, I know that's not particularly helpful. Just having headaches on my own team. A FIFA player said people buying Salah with a ghost emoji. Oh, Peter, I didn't know you was in Australia. Thank you so much for joining. Salah owners are tripping. It is a tough one for captain, though. Chloe has said tempted to get rid of Rashford now. Salah is leading the captain poll. Peter's transferred in Joe Gomez now. He's injured. Unlucky, mate. Unlucky. That's why we don't make the early transfers. But I know, you know, a lot of people were really stuck on funds. A lot of price changes this week. Take a -4 to switch him to Coleman, Ream or Kilman to -8. I think I would. I don't think a -4 for Coleman is really worth it. FPL Boss says Castagna to Kilman for a -4. It's okay. Only okay though. Think about how you're getting through 28 though in there as well. Jaheem says Andreas has been useful this season. He really has. Asuma says Nuno or Gakpo. I prefer Gakpo. FPL Boss says Castagna to Kilman. Have we not just done that one? Yeah, Yaya says 29 is after the international break. Yeah. That Rashford thing has thrown a spanner into the works. Right, if I did this, if I was to get Matoma in for Rashford, I've still got $11 for this week. I'd be benching Trippier, Botman and Matoma. But then if we assume that 28 is going to involve Liverpool and Fulham, I would have Kepa. I'd have Gabriel, Tarkowski, Trippier and Botman as a back four. I'd have Odegaard, Salah and Drake, yes, as a 3 in midfield. And then I'd have Nketiah up front. I'd have 9. But I've already getting in Matoma as well for double 27, who I'm going to want anyway. it's tricky. Let me know in the chat if you're tempted to drop Rashford. That's what I want to know. Oh dear. Yaya says, is Neco Williams expected to play with Aurier injury? I don't think I was aware of that one, but I would say yes if that is the case. Oh yeah. Out for a little while. Yeah. I think you're all right there then. Shall I put another poll up? Let's end the captain poll for now. And let's ask about Rashford. Basically, I just want help with my own team. Start a poll. Are you... I don't know if this is typing in the right one. Tempted to drop Rashford. Let's see. Let me put the quote in again. Just for context. Lungajani says, haven't made my transfers yet. Don't know what I'm waiting for. Me neither. Iron Man says, will Trent start? I think he should do. Who else is going to start? Damien says, thanks, Holly, you're a diamond. Oh, thank you for that, Damien. I feel like I'm getting quite a lot of repeat questions, so please don't spam the chat. Matt says, it's still positive that Nketiah is getting the chances. It's just whether you think he's a bad finisher or not. I don't think he is. Oh, I think I'm just wanting this Rashford thing so that I can get Salah in. I don't even know whether I want Salah anyway. It's such a headache. We're getting really close to the deadline and I've not even made my moves. What am I doing? I hope it's not just me really stuck. Only 18% are looking to drop Rashford. I've not got much value in Rashford though. Let's have a look again. I bought him at 7. It's now at 7.3. Sunil says bench 1, Ake, Bueno or Andreas. Bueno. Josh. I think I've already done that one. Lunjani says Bueno replacement must be non-Wolves players. How much is Bueno? It's like less than 4, isn't he? 3.9. So, I mean, you're not getting a lot for 3.9. Let's look like that. Let's look up to 4.5. Kyle Walker-Peters. Tarkovsky, obviously. Villa defender. Mings, 4.3. It's not great. Not a great choice, but if that's all you can afford. Lyle says, is it worth to do Patterson for Arnold for a -4? Yeah, do it. If it means getting 11 out. Boo Boo says, I've got 6 blankers. How many players? How many doubles? I'd try and get to... if you sold 2 or 3 blankers, try and get to 10. Make sure you got triple Arsenal. Maybe 1 or 2 in there. Jag says, hold your nerve, keep Kane and Mahrez. Yeah, I am going to do that. I swear I saw Rashford now. Do you... I mean, it's unlikely we're going to get any more news in there. Pratish says, would you get Saka in for a hit if you've already tripled up on Arsenal? So you can do White to Trent, Nketiah to Watkins or Darwin. If it's a -4 and gives you more players for this week than I would do. Ricky says -4 Cucurella to Tarkovsky. I think I'd do that one. Yaya says stick with Edison or get Pickford. I think I would stick with Edison. If you haven't liked this already, please do. Please subscribe to the channel as well. All of your support really appreciated. Lunjani says purchase asking about purchase price and sell price. So let's look at Trippier. I bought Trippier for 5.1 million. He's now up to 6. For every 0.2 million a player goes up, you get 0.1 million in value when you sell them. So Trippier is now at 6. I can get half of that profit. So I can get the 0.4 of the 0.9 profit, just rounded up. So I can sell Trippier for 5.5, but then when I want him back again, he's going to cost me 6. Have I gone off Gakpo a little bit? Oh dear. Richard says Darwin for Kane, Salah for Fernandes. Not for me, but I can see the appeal for some. Only 18% are tempted to drop Rashford after this news. Sorry, my eyes just going funny. Mario says any forward with a double game week for Mitro. No, it's not going to happen. Watkins is your best bet, but he doesn't double this week. Ryan says this is the worst game week. Yeah, feel your pain. I would go Tarkowski over Coleman. Chloe is tempted to get rid of Rashford. Kane to Darwin for a -4 is not for me, but I can see why people are doing it, Seb. Hackney says, is Bueno likely to play? Who knows? Hit and miss. I mean, you could just start him and hope for the best. Hopefully you get one start. Question on how many people are playing FPL this season from Rohit. You can find it on the homepage on this bit where it tells you your rank. 11.2 million. Madness. That's registered teams though. They may not all be human. Nelson, Patterson, Fernandes, Mitrovic to Van Dijk, Watkins and Gakpo for a -4. Yeah, that's fine. Jojo says, do you think Lewis will start? Probably not. I wouldn't get Matip though. Ricky says, when are you thinking of using your wildcard? Either in 27 or 33, but I'll know next week. Lunjani says Rashford won't have another Premier League fixture until the 5th of March, so a lot of information. Yeah, when do they play? So game week 26, they play Liverpool on Sunday evening. Gary says if Rashford is out, Matoma in next week. Yeah, I could do it this week and get Salah though. Teo says, is 9 players enough for 28? Yeah, I think that's fine. I think it is. I'm a little bit stuck, guys. I don't really know what I'm going to do. I will confirm my final team though. I'm going to have to think on it while entertaining a small child this afternoon. I will let you know my final team, guys, but in the meantime, if you have enjoyed the stream, please give it a like, subscribe as well. I've just put my subscriber count on the screen. See if by the time I stop the stream, whether we can get this up a few more. Currently on 6, we might as well get it to 16,666 at the very least. That'll be a nice number to get to. I am torn now. I need to weigh up this Rashford situation because I could get to Salah for a -4 without losing Mahrez or Kane if I lost my Rashford, but then I'm gambling on him being injured for the next week or so, aren't I? Couple of weeks. So let's see. We've made it to the golden number. Keep it going, guys. I would really appreciate that. Please check out all the other content on the channel as well. And I did mention Sorare as well earlier on in the video. So hopefully anyone that's catching up with this one a bit later has time to check that one out. And also, because it was a bit earlier today, I will be back next week at the standard 1 o'clock slot. So don't worry if you were late to this one. It's my fault, my child's fault anyway. But I'll drop that in the chat as well. People are selling Rashford. I'm really tempted, guys. Should I have one more look at it before we go? So if I sell all my Manchester United players, I can bring in 2 players at double. I can bring in Salah, who I could captain. I think I still prefer Odegaard captain. I don't think I'm going to do it, guys. I don't think I am. But I could do it for a -4. But I think I'm going to stick with the plan and get Gakpo. I mean, I'm not really loving Gakpo in my team, but I think it's easier to sell Fernandes with this Rashford news as well anyway. Right, I'm going to leave it there. Look out for my final team reveal, which will be coming this afternoon. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you everyone that's subscribed to the channel as well. I'll be back next week with some more content, so do check that out. Thanks very much for watching.